Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode review. We're here this week talking about Lower Deck Season 5, Episode 3, The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel. I'm joined by my Trekkies in arms, Unwell Zam, Cheeto, Lord Donkey, and Scarlet's Fire. How are you all this evening?
Doing good.
Could be better. Could be better, but soldiering on.
Well, we're glad you're here, Zam, trucking through.
Thank you.
So we had a pretty good episode this week, I would say. The basic rundown and synopsis would be that this Cosmic Duchess cruise trip has become infested by a nanite clump. Baron and the rest of her crew, except for Boimler, with the addition of Jin, have to go down and try to solve the problem. But Boimler gets pulled aside by Ransom on a covert op. Before we really get into the nuts and bolts, why don't we do some overall impressions? We'll start with Zam.
This just felt like a good standard episode without necessarily intertwining everything and anything for an overall arc. It just felt very episodic with a little thing here or there with, like, you can see Boimler growing his beard and obviously the ex-girlfriend from a previous season coming back. But those are nice little touches regarding people who are watching this series, that if you're invested, you get those sort of callbacks. But it was just a fun ride of an episode, and I appreciate that. Sometimes it doesn't have to be part of a bigger picture. It could just be its own self-contained thing, and that's what it was with this episode.
Exactly, and I feel like it benefited for it. Cheeto?
I thought there were a lot of good things in this episode. I thought the girlfriend thing was, even though it was on purpose, I was really frustrated in the beginning when I thought that it was, when I thought that they were just trying to play this joke or whatever. And then when we found out that Jennifer was just doing this on purpose to kind of make her admit that they broke, I thought it was kind of dumb. The rest of the episode was great. I loved a lot of the shenanigans and everything else that they got into, but the whole Beckett Jennifer thing, like, I could see if maybe there was a like standoffishness between the two of them just because they were working together, and they had broken up. But it's like this whole like, oh, they broke up a year ago and now and Mariner really thinks that Jennifer just is completely unaware that they broke up. Like, it was kind of silly to me, and I thought it was a bit stupid. But everything else was good. A couple comments before we move on from Daniel Vance. He says, "Hey, girlfriends." Apparently we're all Daniel Vance's girlfriends. Hey. Daniel Vance says there will be a Section 31 comic to cover the time period between Georgiou entering the Guardian of Forever and the series itself. So I don't expect to know what happened if you don't read the comic. Oh, well, I mean, I've never really been a collector of Star Trek comic books. So unfortunately, I do collect comic books. I just have never done Star Trek ones. And there's just it never really.
There's a good one covering the period between Romulus exploding and Spock going back in time to the Kelvin universe.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only one I've read.
Gotcha. And then last one. This one was exhausting and took me 3 attempts to finish. Happy you all enjoyed. Yeah, I mean, it again. It's okay if you don't enjoy it. That's the name of the game when you make content. And again, there was a pretty big thing for me that stuck out that I didn't necessarily like, but still, there were still great things along the way. And just a comment in from Paul Burns. Welcome to the stream. I started Star Trek comics in the I started Star Trek comics in the 80s, and they didn't impress me. Never went back. I hear they got way better, and that's good. I mean, as I said, I collect a lot of Marvel and DC stuff, but I've never really, even Ninja Turtle. My kids collect Sonic and My Little Pony, but it's just like I've never really gotten into the Trek comics. Any ones I've ever seen, I've just been kind of like meh. So sorry. Okay.
Sure, Cheeto, your kids collect My Little
Yeah,
Pony.
My Little Pony. Yeah, I know. Every time I go in there, because they pull it for me, and it's like sitting there right on the top of it. It's like, you know, when you go to buy condoms at the grocery store, you always try to like hide them under things. You know, it's like,
Nah. Why
listen,
be
I read it for the
embarrassed?
stories.
Why be embarrassed about either things?
I read it for the
Just buy
plot.
them.
Okay, Scarlett, your overall impressions?
With Tito on the Mariner Jennifer thing, it was stupid and ridiculous and really didn't need to be brought back a year later.
See, Scarlett, that's why you're a classy lady, and that's why I love you. Okay.
I love you too. I didn't see the point in that. I think the rest of the episode was really good and I really enjoyed it. But that just stuck out to me as being like wedged in there and making no sense to the rest of it.
Fair enough points, and I see where you guys are coming from. To play devil's advocate about the whole it not making sense part, we know that Mariner can be a little bit dense at times, and also sometimes people get in their heads about a thing and start feeling a certain way about it way later on. So maybe Jennifer got this, bug up her butt about the whole thing suddenly, and that's why it popped back up. But that's just me being devil's advocate. Donkey?
I hear you with that. Avoiding an awkward conversation, yes, please. So I'm right there with Mariner. I feel like that whole thing maybe wouldn't have happened if this wasn't the last season. I think they just brought Jennifer back to say, oh, yeah, let's wrap this up because we're on the last season. Kind of like how we went through Discovery and the last season was like, oh, yeah, they probably just did this because they're ending it. So,
I mean, I'll give a little bit of pushback on that because they did not know they were canceled until after they had really done a lot of the legwork of the season. So,
okay.
I mean, even
the
the cast members didn't know until like I think they announced it on Twitter or whatever that it would be the final season, and they're all kind of like, "What?" So,
gotcha.
Yeah, it
That
was
would
not
have
a
made it
plan.
make more
I don't
sense.
think it was a planned cancellation. I think it was because Paramount is right now in chaos and they're trying to sell. And I think it was just kind of like a decision like, well, we got to make the company look more profitable. So let's get rid of some shows.
We need to get some Ferengis to come and buy Paramount. That'd be ideal. But yeah, I guess if it wasn't that they finally came out at the end and said, oh, yeah, they're just Jennifer knew that they had broken up. She was just making a point. It would have been more annoying and more of a takeaway. But I didn't mind it so much. I thought it was very on brand for Mariner to just kind of not have the conversation and then expect it to be okay. And then to Liz, like, so you didn't have a conversation with her. So she doesn't, like, to Liz just saying, what's wrong with you in her Vulcan way.
Yeah, pretty much.
So.
Yeah, very well. So Boimler thinking he's being used as cannon fodder, being our A plot. How did we feel about that? I thought that went pretty well, especially as they failed every time. He just keeps failing to get the information they need, running off the various contacts. We had the call back to the race from TNG that gets offended by people eating and drinking in front of them. And Denobulin this week. The skier being Denobulin. So kind of some of our Easter eggs there in that segment. How did we feel about the Boimler plot if we're not digging the Mariner subplot so much? We'll go to Unwell Zam.
It's just typical Boimler, isn't it? Like, he's very much self-reflecting on how how things are supposed to be. Gets a little bit nervous because of another officer losing his hand, which was a funny moment in its own sense, I guess. But I've seen this version of Boimler quite a lot, so it is what I expect from him. And then, like a lot of sort of family shows, cartoons, and stuff like that, there's a life lesson. I've learned something today, a bit like South Park, which is what happened regarding the culmination of that story. And obviously knowing his officers better as well, which I thought he would have known now that he's 5 seasons in, to tell you the truth. I thought he would have had a bit more respect for someone like Ransom. But regardless, it was all right. It was funny. It's just what you expect and what you want to a degree. You're on mute.
Mage.
Well, get just
Definitely on brand for Daimler.
Mm-hmm.
Chino?
Actually, I thought there was a lot of growth in this episode. Well, showing a lot of the growth from Blumler in this episode. Boimler. I always say it wrong. I can't talk. We'll just call him Brad.
Bradward. Just say boy.
Boy, yeah. I because he actually stood up to Ransom a couple times in the episode. Like there were when they were floating in the lazy river. When he looked at Ransom and said, he said, "Look, I am a good officer." Like he would have never have done that. Like even probably last season or the season before. So, I mean, I saw a lot of different Bumler in this episode. So I actually enjoyed it. We got the best Blumler scream in this episode when he's going off the edge and he's got that scream going on. That's the best scream ever. I was like, I want to save that and make that my ringtone. If I could get a louder version of it. Like when my boss calls, I'll just, that'll be her ringtone. Just a couple comments from Paul Burns here. Actually, Daniel Vance had one here. He said it's lower decks and none of it makes sense. And that's why I always say everybody, I know they think I'm crazy, but I think it's loose canon. And I know it is canon. I know, but there are things in this show that just don't make sense. And, in the canon sense. So I think it's exaggerated to tell a story talking about how relationships end and played up some of the common misunderstandings till it was a farce. I enjoyed it, even not believing.
Believable.
Oh, even not believable. Okay. I didn't get what Boimler was. See, I can read it right. I just can't say it right. Boimler was supposed to have learned, be more brave, try new things, themes we have all seen before. And this is true. I mean, they are kind of stretching out some of like the whole Mariner growth thing is also, they've kind of stretched all the out a long time.
No, sorry if I could intervene. I actually, even though I said that you would have learned some sort of lesson in the end, I actually do also agree with Paul Burns. Because in my opinion, I don't think Boimler is the type of person to be easily tempted into things, because we saw that with the evil AI episode the other season, and he pretended. Season, I think. Yeah, exactly. So I was kind of surprised that he was going to be so easily manipulated by this admiral, but I guess not. And yeah, there wasn't really a lesson to be learned, but I'm just going regarding the story, so to speak. It was just something there just to move the plot along, and obviously him to save the day and all of that bollocks using grease.
And Daniel Vance does say, I did enjoy the Apocalypse Now references with Boimler's story. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people pointed out the Apocalypse Now references.
Yeah. I was wondering. Now it makes sense. Now you mentioned that. I didn't pick it up until you mentioned it. Now it makes sense. Yeah.
Paul Burns says, good call. And then Daniel Vance also says, I'm pretty sure the ski scene was to Better Off Dead. All right. So, Scarlett, I think you're next.
So I thought that the plot was pretty well done. I saw some growth in Boimler as well. I liked when we got to the part where it looked like he was gonna turn and follow the admiral that had gone UA and then greases himself up and becomes slippery Boimler, which was hilarious, by the way. Him showing that admiral that he had a purpose in Starfleet outside of milking whales, I guess.
I wonder if they made a whole class of ship for that. You know, like I wonder if there's like I wonder if there's like this ship that's going around with like modifications on it that's like got like udder receptacles in it, you know, on the top of it, and then they just fly up and then fly underneath the whale, and then they go up and then they attach the receptacles.
If they did, that Captain Kirk designed it.
Captain Kirk did design it.
The image in my head is horrible. But I think that it was that plot line was well done, and I agree with Cheeto where Boimler standing up for himself, where he was such a chicken 2 seasons ago. I mean, he had no spine. And he's actually growing a spine now that we're at the end of this show. So that's where I am on that one.
Yeah, he's definitely developed a backbone, but I see kind of the guy's points about him being so gullible. I believe it was Zam that made the comparison to the Agamus episode. And so, yes and no.
Do you think that he was playing them the whole time, or do you think that he was actually thinking about joining them? I think he was playing them the whole time.
I think so, too.
I'm not sure about that one.
I was in the camp that he was genuinely just so freaked out by what Jet said that he was prepared to go AWOL on the tropical island ship.
I don't think so. I think him knowing Mariner and like just the way her shenanigans are, and like I feel like he was playing the Admiral. I feel like he was just genuinely playing the Admiral, waiting for his opportunity to, you know, jump into action.
While he was tied up, maybe he was considering it, but then as soon as the Admiral let him off the thing there, I think that's when he went into escape mode and how can I figure this out to get us all out of this?
And I mean, he loves Starfleet. Like it's not like he loves the boring stuff in Starfleet too. Like we kind of knew that. Like that's why when he was talking to him and all that, and he was talking about the like even when he said they had me milk the whales, like Boimler got excited and he said, "Oh, are there these ones or these ones?" Like I don't remember what he said, but he said like there's these one from an episode, and then there's these other ones, and I'm like that. Yeah, like of course, like even if he was milking the whales, Boimler would be ecstatic because he's doing science and you know, and milking something.
He comes from a vineyard. You're kind of milking the grapes there. So
that's true. Yep. I've got grapes. Can you milk me?
Tell me, Greg. All right. Before we derail this, I'll pass it to Donkey.
Yeah, the Boimler part was a lot of fun. Seeing his when he saw the missing hands. By the way, I just love that it's hands are missing. Oh, they're just gonna grow me new ones. But my hands are missing. Like, of course they're just gonna grow you new ones. But yeah, the terror on his face right there. Yeah, because we've seen Ransom be that way with Mariner. We've seen Ransom be that way in other situations with Boimler. Remember the Hawaii thing? We're all Hawaii bros. So yeah, it was good to see some of that development. I think part of that development is from when his transporter clone, quote unquote, died. And he was faced with that reality. And he's changed a lot since then.
Yeah, he feels maybe that he has to take up the kind of the growth and attitudes of the transporter clone. I can't remember what name they gave him, what he went with.
Did he just go by Brad?
No, what was his name? William Brad William Blemler? Like what? Maybe because it was William Riker.
Yeah, and then I think I remember Riker saying, "Oh, good name, kid."
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, his middle name. Let's call me by middle name, William.
That's how they did Thomas Riker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's where he's going with this. I like that kind of headcanon fears there, Donkey.
Yeah, William Boimler. I looked that up really quick.
You said it right.
Our man in the chair.
Because I wasn't reading it. Boimler.
Oh, you did say it right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just said it right because I was looking at it in the chat. Because I had a couple comments here. I'm telling you, I can read it right, but I can't say it independently right. I don't know why my brain has this disconnect. I mean, it's got a lot of disconnects, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other plot runner of the episode, and probably the bigger one, was, of course, the chase for the nanites, which has our kind of like normal Star Trek-y stuff in it. We've got our science, got problem solving, but it also gave way to lower deck style shenanigans, kind of a Katamari Damacy reference moment with it running rampant all over the cruise ship once they souped it up. And just then ultimately the reveal that there is a tiny, minuscule, Intrepid class starship that is at the core of the nanites.
USS Endeavor.
And when they said nanites, who thought of Voyager first?
I thought of the Borg. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, I guess you
that
can't
was
really
fun.
say Voyager. It was more just like I thought of the Borg.
I just thought of the Blob, the movie, the Blob, with this thing just eating stuff up and getting bigger and bigger. That's what I thought of. Yeah. But I just want to say, regarding the planet they're on, like it's apparently some sort of pleasure planet. Sorry, it's not a pleasure planet; it's a pleasure space
Vacation
station.
planet more.
Yeah,
but
like
it's not
intergalactic cruise ship.
the size of a moon. Like, how fucking big is that? You know, like I don't think people realize how humongous that thing has to be. You know, to be the size of a moon. Like it's bigger than any vessel you could possibly imagine. You know, it's the size of a small planet. It's just
well, I
ridiculous.
mean, the moon is 1/4 the size of our planet. So I mean, if we're using Earth's moon as a scale, then yeah, I mean,
still is humongous.
That's no moon.
You know, it's just let's say it's the size of the Death Star. That's humongous. You know, like, and it just got. I mean, how many things can it have on it to keep you entertained? You know.
I thought it had a really cool design.
Yeah, exactly. But that was like going through my mind at the time, like how big this place must be, and I want to visit a place like that. Hey, it's my best mate, Jelly Deals. Yeah, how you doing, mate? It's all right. It's all forgiven. Give you some spags later, baby.
Just a couple comments really quick before we move on from Paul Burns. I thought it was brave to show. Oh, no, wait, no, I'm sorry. I already read that. He was a raisin farm. So
Raisin Farm, yeah. Yes.
And I really like Amazing Alternate Universe Boimler. So I did too. We call him Bearded Boimler.
Bearded Boims
Boimler.
was the best.
And he's growing that beard in. It's coming.
He's going to become him one day.
Yeah, it's coming,
Can you
y'all.
just replicate a beard?
Probably not.
What he's gonna become, we're not certain, but something's coming.
I think the metamorphosis of Boimler will happen the moment that beard happens. Like it gives him powers, and he's got the beard. You know, he's like Samson with a beard. You know, it's gonna be like that.
So in the last episode, he's going to shave it off and lose all of his powers.
Well, not necessarily that. I don't think we'll see him shave it off, but it gives him powers. You know, it gives him like machismo. You know, without sounding too misogynistic. It's going to give him something along those lines, in my opinion.
So do you think, like in the last episode, he's going to have to shave his beard to figure something out? Like there's some science problem, but since he has the beard, he's too like manly. He can't like figure the sciencey part out.
Well,
Then he shaves his beard to figure out the science problem. I can see that happening, and I'm like, I'm not.
No, I can see what I can see is him being regular Boimler with the beard, and then he'll have a moment where he sees his reflection, and he sees himself with the beard, and he's like, you know what, I've got this, and like he'll just like, you know, like it just like. Ugh, you know, like I got a beard, baby. I
Just
got
rips
a beard.
it off like
The final transformation.
Do like, yeah, exactly.
The final
then, like,
transformation is going to be full koala.
And you'll be like, do like a rant and rip his shirt, and then you see he's got more definition than the last time we saw him shirtless.
Ooh.
He'd be working out as well, you know.
Ooh, like,
and Adam is now
tattoo I
tuning
saw
in
of it?
for the rest of the episodes, guaranteed.
Oh, I was already. It's going to be like that pinup tattoo I saw of Boimler.
Oh man. Oh, no.
It's on Star Trek shitposting. Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Some good to Lynn moments this week. And you know,
Yeah.
Indy's back, Rutherford's back, but not as much focus on them as we had been getting in some of the previous episodes.
That's a good thing. Talin was actually the third plot, in my opinion, and I like the fact that she was a bit fangirlish over Krog. Yeah,
Korg from Guardians, or from Thor.
Yeah.
No, and not every episode has to have a plot with each of the characters in it. Would end up making it feel kind of cramped and forced.
Agreed.
So I feel like they did a good balance of plots and number of runners this episode. I feel like Talin is gelling more and more with the rest of our established lower deckers. How do the rest of us feel about that? Zam, or do you?
Yeah, 100%. I think she's pretty much an integrated part of that crew, and I like her deadpan, sort of style with what it brings to this contingent. You know, I like it. You know, she enjoys things. You know, she appreciates things, but she doesn't show any emotion whilst doing it, which is what I like. And I like that about her. She's a Vulcan fundamentally, but she's not like a bland Vulcan. She's got bits to her. So yeah, I like the character a lot. She's a great character.
Cheeto, do you feel like Talin is meshing with the rest of the crew?
Did you ask me? Sorry, I missed.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy the way she's meshing with the crew. I thought with Tindy coming back, it would actually be a little bit too heavy. But actually, I think after seeing this episode, I really feel like, because my favorite part of this episode was like the Boimler stuff, and and like just the interactions between them when they're trying to catch as I said, the Jennifer thing I was kind of not on board with. But like that plot, like, you know, with them trying to chase the nanites and everything, I was on board with that. I thought that was great. And I felt like the 4 of them were really gelling really well. And I know Jennifer was kind of the tag along on that one, but I really felt like Mariner, Rutherford, Tindy, and T'Lyn were all really gelling really well in those scenes. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like T'Lyn was this just extra character added on, you know, so yeah, I really appreciate it. Just 2 comments here. Paul Burns says, Beard, and he is amazing at doing the Riker maneuver. He did the Riker maneuver on the bridge. And then she's saying Majel is greater than T'Lyn, which I honestly don't agree with, but I mean, opinions, different strokes. Magel's the Vulcan from Prodigy season 2.
Prodigy, that's it.
She's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel like she's better than T'Lyn, but that's just me.
And I feel like T'Lyn blends in or meshes better with the established cast than Majel did. She felt more like an insert and really had to come into her own at the end.
Now, maybe next season she'll prove us wrong. Maybe she is really good. You know, if we get a Prodigy season 3.
Like I said, you know, the fangirl moment with Korg, and even the bit where that picture gets signed and she finds it illogical, you blemish the picture, but she still loved it, and you could tell that genuinely she loved it without showing a hint of emotion, and that's what I liked about it. Yeah, she's a great character.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett, how did you feel about the quest to stop the nanites and T'Lyn's blending in with the rest of this crew?
I think that T'Lyn blends really well with the rest of the crew. I remember seeing a few of the episodes from the very beginning when you first started watching this, that she seemed more Vulcan, more standoffish, I guess, to the group, and it seems like even without the showing of emotion, that she commingles with them better than she did in the beginning. They went about getting rid of the nanites by using her favorite musical artist's instruments was really cool. And then finding out that he practiced Vulcan logic and blending that in to make it, you know, something that connected directly with her was really a nice touch.
Yeah, the coming full circle with that was really cool. Donkey, your thoughts?
From T'Lyn, I get more of the Spock kind of arc where he's trying to fit in, trying to be, not lose his Vulcan part, but, you know, kind of adapt a little bit and be more, I guess he's always going for the human aspect of it. From Majel, I guess I get the sense of she's Vulcan through and through, not trying to adapt to her human or non-Vulcan counterparts, which is fine, but she's still personable enough. As far as the chase, like I said at the beginning, it felt like when they said nanites, I first thought of Voyager, which then made me think of the episode where they move Voyager last season, and how it started off, everything's fine, and then all hell breaks loose, which is kind of the same thing here. It's the same kind of, oh, we have a plan, we're gonna just take care of this issue, and then no, it's chaos now. So kind of similar plot threads there. The first thing they tried to stop the Nanites charging it up, because Mariner just wanted to get out of the awkwardness. Made it a lot of fun, but yeah, I thought it was a good, clever solution. It's like, oh, it turned into a D20 first of all, like roll for initiative, and then it swallows everyone. Like, oh no, I'm sure they're fine though, because they can't lose the main characters this early in the season. So I thought it was a fun ending, especially the reveal of the miniature Intrepid class ship inside. So yeah,
they're definitely playing on parallel universes in this season. I mean, obviously we had last week's with Becky Freeman's crew. This week we've got the Endeavor from a miniature galaxy. Like, it's still like theirs.
Which I love that idea. Yeah.
So maybe you're on to something. Maybe that's the kind of direction they're going to go with for an overarching kind of concept. Maybe it's not an overarching plot.
No. Boimler's beard is the overarching plot of the season.
Probably.
Hopefully so.
And I think they're just having some fun with the multiverse. I don't know if it's going to be... It might end up being the end of the season kind of villain, and that's what they face off against. Maybe it'll be an evil mastermind Boimler. That'd be fun.
I like towards the end when they're like, we've had a month of hell, and they kind of look at each other like,
yes,
they're like,
that
they looked at each other, and I wanted them to say, call us back when it's a year, like.
Yeah, I started cracking up, and Mike's like, what why is that so funny?
Yeah, well, that's how you sift out the nerds from the dorks.
Hey, now this is Nerd Tube.
Exactly, we are the nerds.
Mm-hmm.
This is the greatest channel that you maybe sort of kind of heard of, and should definitely subscribe.
I've heard that before. I'm subscribed.
We almost somebody should put on a T-shirt.
Oh yeah, we have T-shirts, don't we?
Oh yeah, we do. We did down in the promoting money section thing. Yeah. Like down here, down in our store.
Yeah.
The Nerd Tube store. Ooh.
But no, Donkey, you pointing out kind of some of your favorite gags of the episode. That is an excellent segue for my next question for this panel. I was going to ask what everybody's favorite either reference or gag from this week's episode was. Donkey, you kind of already answered. I will go while I let the rest of the panel kind of think about it. Mine was definitely, oh God, it's like grabbing a string bean. There near the end, once he was all greased up, I cackled way too loud at that line. Zam, what was your favorite bit?
I mean, I guess when Boimler survived the fall, and that the lady he was following helped him out the hole and helped him at the snow and said, "Yeah, you're the first person to have fallen from that and lived." I thought that was a little bit funny.
Okay, Cheetah.
I agree with the fall with the scream is probably my favorite. My second favorite though was the hover golf cart. When they jumped in that hover golf cart, I'm like, this is a vacation. This is absolutely a vacation station. Because you just always no Ryan, we don't have Nerd Tube socks. All right, sorry man. And also we don't have a Xanta Funko, but we maybe we could work that out. I don't know. Maybe
Not
maybe
long
we'll do
until
some
Xanta's
molding
back.
on Xanta this year when he comes out to play.
1 month
Nerd
left.
Tube socks is a definite missed opportunity, though.
And
Yeah,
dildos.
I mean, especially with what is it? Especially with Deadpool endorsing it, get out your special sock nerds. See, it's almost an endorsement of Nerd Tube socks. Nerd Tube socks, get it?
Ha ha ha. You know what we really need is a nerd tube popcorn bucket.
Ooh, with big Zam mouth on it.
Yeah.
It's for while you're watching the Golden Glasses Awards.
That's right. And
I
then
see
one
a
last comment
smile
from
out of
Daniel
that one.
Vance. Huh?
Zam, I saw a smile out of that one. Go ahead.
I think it'll end all multiversal, like Lord Donkey is saying. I think they'll open the door to doing whatever they can sell as a new show. Oh, as a new show. So basically, you're saying that this season is going to spin off into whatever they can put in new. I don't think so. I don't think they're like. I don't think this is going to be like Discovery season 5. Like Discovery season 5 was definitely, there were parts that were selling Starfleet Academy. I don't think that this show is. I don't think that this 5th season is going to spin off, or at least push you into a spin off. But maybe it will. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, it could go either way. Scarlett, what was your favorite moment this week?
My favorite part was him going over the mountain and landing face first in the snow. That was absolutely hilarious.
That squee was almost as funny as the real life Wiggle Boimler run from the Strange New Worlds live action episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Okay, so we've covered the plot runners. We've talked about our favorite gags. Kind of pointed out some of the Easter eggs this week. Does anybody have any final thoughts or anything they wanted to bring up before we move on to the poll and marks?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy this episode didn't leave you with any aftermath regarding what's going to happen next. It just, like I said, it was self-contained. You can enjoy it for what it is and then move on.
Nice bottle episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we will do some marks then. Why don't we start with, we'll keep them on their toes, Lord Donkey.
I also have trouble marking because I feel like I always go high because I'm always happy with it.
You're allowed to be happy with it. I mean,
well, to an extent, right? In fairness, I agree with your guys' points on the Mariner subplot with Jennifer. It would have been nice if they had kept Jennifer around and didn't just, oh, hey, we should probably, or, let's address that, regardless of whether they knew by then. So I'll give it an 8.
8. Very good mark. We'll go anti-clockwise. Scarlett.
I'm gonna go with a 7 this week. The Jennifer Mariner thing really annoyed the crap out of me, and even though the rest of it was really good, that was enough to really just throw me off and bother me. So that knocked it down pretty considerably for me.
Understandable way to knock it down. Cheeto?
I would give it an 8 if it wasn't for the Jennifer thing, so I'm going to give it a 7. So I was leaning towards an 8, but the more I talked about the Jennifer thing, the more I was like, yeah, it really did. It's not the fact that it just was dumb. And I get that the show's supposed to be some dumb comedy sometimes, but this felt a little the pendulum swaying a little too far the dumb way for this plot point. You know what I mean? So especially after 5 seasons in, I felt Yeah, I really felt like the idea was dumb. It's not even like what there weren't funny parts in it. It just was a dumb idea. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Fair enough. Unwell Zam.
I actually listened to Cheeto. I agree with him, but I thought the dumb idea to a degree kind of worked. And sometimes I think stupid can be presented, like, for instance, Ratatouille having a rat that teaches the guy how to cook in the kitchen. The idea, the concept on paper sounds stupid, but for me, that's my favorite Pixar movie of all time. Sometimes something stupid can turn out to be work really well. I'm not saying this worked really well. I just thought it was okay. So, which is why I'm going to stick with an 8. I thought it was good.
Hi, Mark.
What about the bird? What's their mark?
Are you going to give it 10? I'm going to give it a 10. tweet, 10.
All right, excellent. And for myself, the Jennifer Mariner thing didn't bother me any. The nanites and the chase and all that good stuff, I loved. The Better Off Dead reference with the ski scenes, I loved. I can't really think of much to gripe about this episode with. Gonna give it a 9, actually.
Whoa, Mage leaning on the upper side.
I do usually do that, but I can't find anything wrong with it. You know, idiot plots work sometimes. Some of the best sitcom moments have been idiot plots.
See, I felt like I agree with you. It's idiot plot, but I just felt like it didn't work. Like that's why I didn't. Yeah, so
it's not going to hit home for everybody.
It would have worked better if there was some lead up to it with Jennifer.
I feel like if this episode happened closer to when Jennifer and Mariner technically broke up, like, or when the silent walk by happened, like if it was closer to that, then maybe I could see if it was only like a month ago or something like that. But this was like over a year. That's, I think, the part that I'm getting hung up on.
That's my thing, is it was just too far removed.
Yeah, definitely too far removed.
Definitely valid criticisms, for sure.
So Major Rage now giving it a 3 out of 10. Now, see?
Maybe I'll go to one of those halves you hate so much.
Oh, don't do that. No, I'm already having
an 8.75.
Keep it at a 9. That's fine.
What have we got out of chat? What is their vote?
So far, we are sitting at a 67% 5 to 7 and a 33% 1 to 4. So since I can only put 4 slots in there, so apparently somebody else put a 8 or 9 in there. So yeah, Sam, I see you got in there and got it. So
that was me.
Huh?
That was me. I like to mark it on this as well using my account.
Now we're at 20% 1 to 4, 5 to 7, 40%, and then 8 to 9, 40%. So, yep. Okay, hold on. We got a couple things coming in on chat.
You're Rick B in every episode of Lower Decks. Oh, sorry. Here we go. I apologize. You clicked at the same time.
This episode. Yeah. Well, no. See, Daniel Vance, if you were to be a Rick B of all you'd have to do is say it sucked because it's Kurtzman. That's it. That's all you got to say. No explanation. No nothing. You just got to say it sucks because of Kurtzman. No justification. No reasoning. No nothing. It just sucks. It's woke. It's blah blah. Then you're the Rick B. You're allowed to not like something and actually not like it for legitimate reasons. That's an opinion, but just not liking it because it's a Kurtzman thing. That's not a legitimate reason to just not like something alone, so. And then Daniel Vance also is outing Major Rage here, saying Mage was up late playing WoW last night. He was sleep deprived. How late were you up last night, Mage? Two.
The night before that, I was up till 3, and I watched. Yeah, so that was Wednesday night. But we were on a hot streak. You can't go to bed when you're winning matches.
It's all right. There's always people around here that are out you, Mage. We love you.
Oh, I love all of y'all too. Love chat, love the audience, except Rick B. But want to thank everybody who's shown up. Want to thank my panel of co-hosts. Couldn't do this review without you guys. I want to thank anybody who comes along on the VOD and watches this. Thank you so much for your continued support of NerdTube. Share it out to your friends. Tell people with word of mouth. Because we are the greatest channel that you maybe sort of kind of never heard of. But we've got some stuff coming down the pipe. Some fan film reactions that we're going to be recording this weekend will be getting uploaded in the near future. And Cheeto, do you want to tell them about what else we have that will probably get uploaded actually on Saturday?
Yeah, our me and your Dragon Ball Daima review, which is, really getting some nice traction on the channel. So thank you. If anyone here is watching or watching on the VOD, thank you so much for supporting the Dragon Ball Daima reviews. Me and Major are really enjoying talking about it, watching it. We love Dragon Ball for a long time, and it's just nice to kind of finally get content that we can review of Dragon Ball. We've been starved for Dragon Ball content for so long. So that's been amazing, and thank you guys for joining us. Watching it and giving it a thumbs up, and if leave comments. Also, Zam is reviewing. You've got a couple things you're reviewing. I know Tulsa King's your big one. What are the other two you're doing?
Tulsa King. I think the final or penultimate episode is this Sunday, which I will have a review out for Monday. I'm also reviewing a show called The Lioness. I had no idea season 2 was coming out until a week before the show was released for season 2. Lioness is a brilliant drama about Zoe Saldana. She plays this leader of a military group where she looks for a particular female officer to infiltrate an organization. Now the life expectancy rate of that officer to survive that infiltration is very low, but that person is called the Lioness. In season 1, we had the Lioness. Now in season 2, she's looking for a new Lioness. Only 2 episodes in. The action is superb action sequences. Really shows off how great the American military can be when they're organized and they have like the top soldiers doing their things. It's beautifully shot, fantastically acted. Not only does it have Zoe Saldana playing a badass, but she's also playing a mother who is in the military, who may never come back to see her family depending on the mission. And so those elements are also played into the drama. It's a very good show. Season 2's out now. I recommend watching season 1 to get into season 2. I'm doing reviews. It's fantastic. And I've just started watching Murderers in the Building. The entire season's out on Disney Plus right now. Once I finish watching the final episode, I'll give you a season 4 review of that too.
Mike and I love that show. We need to finish it.
Yeah, it's a great series.
Also, we might be talking about Agatha all along. We've talked a little bit about maybe talking about it. It's not something that's going to, I don't even know if it's going to come out this weekend, but I feel like it's worth talking about, since we've all watched it. And so that'll be something probably in the next week that'll probably be coming out. And then I'm not sure when Penguin is ending, but I know we'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah, Penguin ends. Yeah. I think we've still got a few more episodes left of that.
Yeah.
Plenty of content in the pipes to make sure to subscribe so you don't miss. There's the bell icon. You got to punch that. The algorithm can be wonky and not necessarily get us to your sub box unless you hit that. But until next time, thanks again to my hosts. Live long and prosper.